Hello and welcome back to the LunchCast. Alright, so we just have a few quick announcements regarding Season 2. So, Season 2 will be coming out 2 weeks from when this video goes out. So, be ready for that. The teaser trailer for Season 2 comes out sometime within this week. Not for sure yet, but it's coming. Be on the lookout. Once again. And the full trailer for Season 2 is going to come out sometime next week. I'm not for sure yet on the exact date, but just know it's coming out sometime next week. So, yeah. So we're going to show you an old clip that Caden and I had filmed. Enjoy. Hello and welcome back to LunchCast.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about a few topics. One being worst public experience. So, Caden, do you have a worst public experience?
Let's see. A worst?
Yeah.
Not really. Alright, so maybe not public experience, but what about just some like funny or weird, interesting thing? Maybe you just walked into somewhere and it just happened. Like just memories in general.
Actually, I have a pretty funny one. One time we end up, my family's big Notre Dame fans. So, one time, spring break, we decided to drive up there, just walk around. So, the first place we went was the Joyce Center, which if you don't know, the Joyce Center is where Notre Dame's men's and girls play basketball. So we went in there because they have a kind of like Hall of Fame thing where like you can go through, see all their trophies and like see all the things that each like sport has won, like gymnastics and track and all that kind of stuff, like football, basketball. So we were in there just kind of looking around, and my dad's like, "Hey, look, that door's open." He's like, "I'm pretty sure that leads out to the basketball court." So we all walked in there. And so we kind of walking through. Nobody was in there. Then we walked out to look at the basketball court. And the girls' team happened to be practicing at that exact same moment. And it was a closed practice. So we weren't supposed to be in there. We didn't really get kicked out, but we were asked to leave.
Basically the same thing.
Basically the same. So ever since then, we've been giving my dad a hard time. The door was open.
Oh yeah, the door was open. That makes it fine.
Yeah. But, that pretty much scarred me for life.
Now you're scared to go back.
We were afraid. That same trip, we were afraid to go into the Golden Dome because we were afraid that it wasn't open to public. My dad had to go in and ask to make sure it was open to walk into. But yeah, pretty gruesome experience.
Yeah. I remember one time, whole family was going out to like eat or something, but on the way there, of course, as usual, we had to stop to pick up groceries.
Yeah.
Which usually ends up happening. And it was Walmart. We were pulling in, and as we were driving up, we just heard "stop!" So we stopped the car. This woman carrying this box that's the size of her, sprinting out the door. There was a police officer chasing her. So she is probably like a 5'4" scrawny little woman carrying this huge box. I don't even know what's in it. And she's trying to sprint out the door and he's chasing her. And he is a 400 pounds. I don't even...
Hot dog eating dude.
Yeah, neither
Could eat like 20 hot dogs in one sitting.
Exactly. And they were just sprinting, and we were pulling away, and I turn around, and I just see him fall on top of her. I'm like, you just killed her.
Oh, dear. So, moving on to the next topic, do you have a favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory? I got a lot of memories.
Do you have one in particular that sticks out and, that was the highlight of your childhood?
Oh, yeah. Well, I am not a baseball player, but I'm a baseball fan, so I like watching it and going to games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All my siblings play. Lily even plays softball. And so I was in the South Whitley. I don't know if Pearson did it, but South Whitley, you would read a book and then you take a quiz and you got PR points.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then you'd go to the Tin Caps game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you got, let's say, like 130 points from reading books, you could go to the Tin Caps game. You read a Harry Potter book and you're there.
Pretty much there, yeah.
Yeah.
You read two and you get to go to 2 games now. That didn't happen, but that would have been awesome.
Yeah. But that's pretty much how every year went. And so, I mean, those were probably my favorites because it was just me and all my little elementary buddies drinking Mountain Dew,
hot dogs and
ice cream. I found this hidden little ice cream stand that there's no line. Walked right up to it. They sold these ice creams and they put 3 huge scoops. It was like a 6-inch of just like ice cream, and it was like soft serve, and that was the small, and I got it for like $2.
Wow.
And I was like, good Lord, this is fantastic. So I mean, just throughout my elementary years of going to Tin Caps, it's probably my favorite. And every other baseball game, we went to a couple White Sox games before.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your favorite childhood highlighted memories?
I don't really know. Probably something in elementary school. I remember field day. Last day of school was always fun. But, I don't really have many, like, specific memories from there. But in 5th grade, I do remember it was me, Luke, Alex, Clayton, and I think that's it. But if you don't know, those are, like, people from school that I used to hang out with. The audience might not know, but yeah, I used to hang out with them a lot. Well, I still do, just not as much as I did in 5th grade. And we were kind of like, the big trio, but not a trio. 4 people is not a trio, but get where I'm coming from.
The 3 Musketeers.
But there's 4 of us.
Plus Clayton.
Plus Clayton. But we always had a good time. I remember specifically the last day of school, Luke's mom was the computer teacher at the elementary school. And the last day of school, we basically got to just skip out on class and just play computer games in his mom's room the whole time because, she wasn't having any classes because it's the last day.
No one goes to computer class on the last day of
Exactly.
school.
So, yeah, that was pretty fun. Obviously, the last 2 hours or 1 hour or something like that, his mom made us go down and socialize with the other kids and stuff. But it was still a good time.
Mm-hmm. I honestly find it kind of sad that both of our highlighting memories are from school.
Oh, God.
It's kind of pathetic. But I mean, it's like nothing really exciting or interesting happened till later, like when I was older.
My childhood was basically lived at school.
I know. I mean, actually, I lived in Fort Wayne up until like 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And you're just a kid. Nothing ever happens. You go to the zoo and it's the best day of your life.
Yeah.
So I mean, nothing ever happened there. And then when I came here, it's like elementary. I went from one of the biggest cities in Indiana to the middle of nowhere. And so there's nothing for me to really do, so it's school.
Yeah.
I didn't really go on vacations or anything, like spring break or summer until like middle school. 6th grade was probably my first like big summer vacation.
So, like middle school. How about middle school? Do you have any like memories from middle school?
Yeah, probably my favorite. In 6th grade, we got introduced that every 2 years they do a Washington, D.C. trip.
Yeah.
And so 6th grade, I was like, oh, that'd be cool to go to. I want to do that. And so I spent 2 years saving up. It was like, I don't even know, a little over $1,000 from fundraisers and selling stuff and going to big events and raising money. And so on 7th grade, the spring break, we got to go, and it was just the time of my life. Like, Landon was going, so me and him pretty much stuck together most of it. Gabe was there. That was pretty fun. Mason. just kids from school.
Mm.
And even like the bus ride, like we got one of those luxurious buses.
Charter buses?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
all the luggage goes underneath, and there's TV screens in, and comforted seats, and your carry-on goes in a little thing above you. There's a bathroom in the back,
Yeah.
which was disgusting, but it was there. But I mean, like, on the way to DC, it was going to be, I think, a 10-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
We had been driving for about 6, and we were in Pennsylvania. Pretty much, like, it was a highway, but it was like one of those middle of nowhere parts of the highway.
Kind of like where we live 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sort of in between cities, so there's nothing there. And the bus, the engine broke down.
Oh.
And so, conveniently, there was a little rest stop that we pulled into. We were stuck at that rest stop for 5 hours.
Wow.
We played cards. There was a little store in there. We all bought 5-hour energies and beef jerky. There was a McDonald's inside, Starbucks, coffee, you know. But I mean, even stuff like that were like highlights, not necessarily memorials. Those I respect.
But like it
them.
made the trip.
Yeah, like stuff like that was the bus ride, and then we did a cruise on one of the last days we were there, like a dinner cruise.
Yeah.
And me, Landon, and Gabe, and not Mason, but me, Landon, and Gabe almost got kicked off the boat.
Oh. I think I heard that story before.
Yeah. Tried to get Landon to dance, so me and Gabe grabbed his hands and pulled on him. He grabbed the table. The table almost fell on him. Me and Gabe caught it. They thought that we were throwing the table on top of Gabe.
Oh my goodness.
And he was screaming at us. Or on top of Landon, not Gabe, but yeah. So how about you? What are some of your highlighting middle school vacations?
No, obviously mine is. It wasn't so much in 8th grade because we kind of had grown out of it since in 8th grade, but definitely the school dances.
Those were fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't.
The awkward slow dances, you know.
And they're more entertaining.
Yeah. It was like just a nice time. Everyone got jacked up on Mountain Dew and pop and ran wild around the gymnasium.
And you're in your socks, you're sliding down the basketball court.
Although I did like 8th grade when the Peacekeeper program put it on. It was in the cafeteria and we had to work the whole time, but it was still a good time, you know.
It was fun to watch.
It was a lot better than smelling everyone's feet.
The DJ actually started talking to people.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But yeah, you always have those awkward slow dances where
The kids are like stick figures walking back and forth. Just awkward.
I only experienced that 3 times, or 2 times. But it was not one I would want to relive.
I think the school dances are moments that it's like, they're not your absolute favorite, but when you think about it, it's like, oh, it was very entertaining to watch like this person dance because they were so awkward.
Well, that about wraps it up. So thank you for listening to the LunchCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we post a lot of stuff, updates on videos when they're coming out and all that. And if you have an idea for the show, email us at links in the description, all the links. So, yeah, Caden.
Alright, stay tasty, my friends.
Thank you.